So I'll just do one thing, create a test geometry called pig head here, and then go inside the node. Okay, so let it get created. And then I'll just go inside the node. So first thing which I'm gonna do is I'll just hide this, switch off this display of this texture which I have in the geometry. So this is my geometry. So now I need to do a setup in three different nodes. One is the rest geometry, one is the geometry which will deform, and the third one is like actual seam on the low res geometry. And why we are doing this, let me show you. So I'll just create a node called point deform here. And then when you look at in the point deform node, you have three inputs. Okay. So the first input is like a mesh to deform, which is our high res geometry. Second one is the rest point lattice, which is gonna be our low res geometry default position or rest position where it is kept on into the scene. And the third one is the actual deform points of the lattice, which is a sim. Okay, so these are three inputs which we have. So that's why we are setting up it in this three different stuff. So what I'll do is first I'll just drop a null node here, my null node, and then let's call it a high res. Okay, high res like that. So what I'll do in this high res also means like you can see this like there are a couple of gaps in between the edges. It's not kind of a perfect uniform geometry. So what I'll do for that is like create a subdivide node. Sorry, subdivide node, and then subdivide the geometry a little bit more. Okay, so it becomes more high res kind of stuff. So this is my high res geometry, and this is what I kept. Okay, so another thing which I'm using is press Shift S. If you, let's say, for example, if I go here, press Shift S, something like this. So you can see this like this node wiring style changes, okay, like that. Okay, I'm using Shift S and I'm using rounded wiring style on my scene so that I can use this kind of setup in. Alternatively, what you can do is you can press Alt and then create this node in the middle. So still it is like kind of rounded style. So if I press Shift S, it will be like pinch linear and then it's rounded like that. Okay, so I need to set up some other stuff also. So let's create one more null node and then use this null node here and then say rest. So this is my rest geometry as we have seen in point deform node. Now this rest geometry still is like, kind of very organized and kind of high res, like, I want to reduce it a bit more. To do that, what I'll do that I'll do is I'll create a node called polyreduce. So polyreduce polygon, I'll say here. So I'll reduce this polygon. So percent to keep is 100%. So I'll reduce it a bit more like that. Okay, kind of. So let's say, okay, I'll just say 25 or something like that. So I have reduced the polygon, but this is not gonna work out for me. So instead of after the poly reduce, I'll just create a node called remesh. Okay, and then remesh this into a decent looking geometry. So let's say 0.1 or something, or maybe 0.15 or something. So this is where I want my simulation to happen, which will be light to simulate, and then I can transfer this sim to my high res geometry using point deform. Okay, so let's duplicate this because the same thing we need to sim it also. So I'll just uh, create one more setup of this. It will automatically connect. Use select all of them and press Alt and drag it, so it will be duplicated. This I'll say okay deform. So this is deform lattice, this is rest lattice, and this is the geometry which is gonna be deforming. So this is what I'm gonna do here. Okay. And now what I'll do is I'll set up my cloth sim first. So let's create a vellum cloth configure cloth. And this is my simple cloth configure node. And then I can just say vellum cloth vellum solver like this, and then create a vellum solver node. Okay. So this vellum solver node I'll just connect like what we did earlier. And the next what I'm gonna do is I'll go to this cloth and go to pinpoints, select this and select couple of points here. Using shift, you can select another point. Press enter so that all the points are here. Okay. Now let's see how the sim is going. And this is very fast sim. Okay. Because we have very low geometry, low res geometry, and I am able to see this like very fast. I can just go for real time as well. And then this is what exactly your sim looks like. Okay, kind of. So now what I want to do is I want to transfer this sim what I have created to the high-res geometry, this one. So let's create a point deform node. This point deform node, as I told you, have three inputs. One is the geometry to deform, okay, mesh to deform. So I want this mesh to deform, right? The second one is rest lattice point, which we need to connect in the middle. And then third one is the vellum solver, which is like vellum geometry, which I need to simulate. Like if I look at it this way, you can see this like, this is deforming. Uh, I can also do one more thing, like I can just take this subdivide node, shake it, or maybe I can just disconnect it using Y and use it high-res. Disconnect it and I can just go into the end here, point deform, and then I can use subdivide here as well. So you can see this like, kind of, it is creating much more better effect instead of I'm attaching my subdivide node earlier. So this is how you deform your high-res geometry with the low-res sim. Okay, I hope it works. So try it out. Thanks a lot.